Ugh. My PC died. That was weird. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, man. There we go. Like the police showed up outside, and yeah, then I mentioned it, and then my power cut off on my PC, and I'm like, what? What's happened? But yeah, that previous game, it's called Kirby Star Stacker, and basically the way it works is you have stuff on the left and right. So okay, no, that doesn't make any sense. You have like a column of like 6 or 7, and you get loads of stars that drop, right? The stars you can't clear without creating a pattern of like 2 matching shapes to the left and right of them. So say you put down an owl and an owl, or I can't remember what the owl's name is. Oh, for fuck's sake, they're honking still. It's either an owl, or like I forgot what the owl's name is. Or what is the name of the characters from Kirby? I can't remember. Yeah, it's kind of like match 3, but you don't match 3, you have to match 2 on the ends, and it clears all the stuff in the middle. Yeah, I've got the ad going at the moment. I'm just setting up the overlay again. I do apologize about that. You can enjoy watching Time Crisis, because Time Crisis is absolutely incredible. It's one of the best games ever made. And one day I should stream myself playing like VR stuff, like really. Like, I really want to play like Time Crisis and like House of the Dead on stream, because unlike any other, there is literally no better way to play light gun games on, because you can't play light gun games on modern TVs. And I'm never going to stream VR chat because I never speak English in VR chat, so it wouldn't make any sense. Also, like, I don't really want to stream VR chat either. But like, you can't play light gun games on modern TVs, but in VR you can. It's so fucking cool. It's so good. We've been invaded. Okay, I should actually carry on with what I'm doing rather than I was watching Time Crisis. Whoops. Let me just quickly fill in everything in my overlay. It's not too bad. It doesn't take too long to set up, but there is an initial bit of setup where I have to put the players and the maps in. No, it was Yeti, wasn't it? Yeti ranged, Quark, Cloud. As if there was an ace. So Zoom 1, game 1, ranged 1, game number 2, and Quark on game number 3. We are about to go into game number 4. Let us look at the map. You know what? Let me load up Brood War first. Keep watching Time Crisis. まあ俺は確かにウィーブなんだけど、まあウィーブのせいでこういうことやってないよ。日本語勉強始めてから、まああれになったから、まあ普通のウィーブではないんだよ。The costumes. I freed the doodle already. The doodle is free. You don't have to spam it anymore. Unless you want it somehow more free. Do you just want it to be on every screen? あ、まあそうだよね。日本語話せるよ。いや、まあみんなが言ってるんだけど、俺はペラペラみたいですよ。なんかね。俺は日本に行ったことないのに。あ、マジでめんどくさいよ、その本キング。いや、俺は日本人ではないよ。普通に 100% 英国紳士。いや、なんでダブルピースしたんですか？アホかよ。Okay, I should probably stop speaking Japanese. But either way, we are loading up the replay. I do apologize for the delay. Obviously, if you're watching on the VOD, this won't be in here, so apologies to everyone. Thank you for the people who've stuck around. We have the possible final game coming up here. Let's introduce the map while the replay loads. Let's go from here. Kasumi saying Cake should have been born in Japan and I should have been born in the UK. Maybe. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, with blue versus purple should be good enough. I'm going to need to remind people that they need to host on top versus bottom. But it is going to be a TVP. It's Town Cross. I was saying before my power cut out that this is the first TVP we've had on this map in the STPL's history. Looking forward to it. It's certainly not the first TVP in history ever, on this map ever, because this map has been used in so many different tournaments, so many different games. Ash are currently up 2-1. We are going into quite possibly the final game. It's a PBT. Can the Terran clutch it out? Or is Cloud, the legendary Italian player, going to win the series for Ash even? Let's find out. Got the Terran team. Okay, spawning us off in the top right-hand corner, fighting for CWT. It's Vaclavson. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner, the legendary Italian player fighting for Ash. It's Cloud. Okay, PvT on this map can be a little bit rough for the Terran. Protoss have a lot of offensive options early in the game. Probably is one thing I've learned from speaking so much Japanese is just how bad my English is, and I can't use the fact I speak Japanese so much as an excuse, because it's not. I'm just literally bad at English. Like, I speak English and I'm a native level speaker. And I don't think that's fair. There are Europeans way better than me at English by a long shot. They understand English better than me. They know what they're saying. They know what they're doing. I have no idea what I'm doing with my own language. Like I don't know where to start. I can't explain English at all. I just know it because it's all I've ever known, basically. But yeah, I would always recommend to anyone that learning a second language is cool. And if you want to do something. Maybe there's a place you really like and there's a place of people that you really want to talk to but you can't because you don't know the language. Learn the language. You can learn so much cool shit. It's great. You learn a lot about yourself as well, which sounds a little bit deep. But here we go. Probe going in on the SCV here. No, the gas is coming up, so it's not going to be a barracks expand. Oh no, he's going to kill the SCV, isn't he? Oh, I hate seeing this. Ooh. Yeah, grammar is difficult. Grammar in English doesn't make any sense. Like, the people that understand it amaze me. No! No, the probe! No! Why did he start building with that SCV? Oh man, well, he does manage to build that up, but there is not a Zealot on the way, which is very surprising. I thought after he was delaying the barracks so much, he would definitely go for that Zealot, but he's going to go straight into Goon range, most likely. Off of one gateway. Now, Lucky Noob saying after learning some English, I found I hate learning languages. Like, Lucky Noob, your written English is, like, to me, it feels fluent. Like, I don't know if it is, or, like, if it's just my opinion, but, like, genuinely, your English is incredible. So, if you call that learning some English, then I think you're underestimating yourself. Also, if you can watch my streams and understand the absolute garbage that I say all the time, then I'd say your English is definitely fluent level. But fluent level, is that even a thing? Like, can I say that in English? Does that work? I don't even know. I'm like questioning my own native language now. Thing is, it's always funny on VR chat seeing people who are learning Japanese for the first time. because the first thing they learn, and it's the same with people learning English as well, any language really, the first thing that anyone learns from any language is always the swear words, or like the wadaguchi, like the bad talk. Like, it's every time. All the time. Like, I know French swear words, I don't know a word of French. Like, I know Russian swear words, and I know how to say, like, what, and that's basically it. Here we go, looks like we are going to have Dragoons putting pressure on the bunker. There is 4 Marines here, but unfortunately, like, I think he should just move the barracks back at this point. Like, having it taking damage here is kind of pointless. Looks like the Marine's going to push out here. One of them does go down, but does build another Marine. Does need to get in the bunker, though. Very close to death. Definitely not something he wants to deal with. This is looking increasingly difficult for our Terran player here. Range has finished for the Dragoons, so the bunker is under fire. Okay, that Dragoon, for whatever reason, is sat in bunker range. Diagonals don't make any sense. Diagonals in Brood War are the most nonsensical thing ever. I don't understand. We've got a Vulture. It's not even going to kill the... Oh, man. I think Vaclavson is dead. I don't think he can come back from this. He's not even repairing his bunker right now, and he can't out-repair the Dragoons. This is definitely a 6-minute curse kind of game right here. Back at home, he's got 2 factories, no add-on. So he's got another Vulture, but there's no mines. The Vulture is going to die immediately to the 4 Dragoons. And this is essentially game over already. There is nothing Vaclavson can do about this. If he can use his SCVs to delay, he can keep himself alive. Yeah, before the stream ends, I'm just gonna like talk about some stuff, but we'll watch the end of the game first and go through the results. But there's something that Miguel Furkos said that really kind of sits well with me, I guess, is a good way of saying it in English. But yeah, we broke 6 minutes. Are we going to make it to 7 though, or is this a 6-minute curse? I mean, realistically, Vaclavson should be out of the game right now. You can't win from here. Like, I'm a very optimistic caster. I will sit there and say anyone can come back from anything. If he had tanks, maybe. Without tanks, there is nothing you're doing here at all. And you're building an add-on on the factory that's under fire. Like, another Vulture goes down, still no mines, 3rd factory coming in on 1 base. Cloud is in too good of a position here. And this is not a position you can come back from. You can't even repair the factory properly. The factory is going to die before it finishes the machine shop, I think. Oh no, it'll just about finish it, and then dies immediately. So he can use it, if he can repair it. But this is, I mean, this is game over, guys. I do apologize. We've broken 7 minutes. The 6-minute curse is not happening this game. Not this season, said Vaclavson, as he stays in the game a little bit longer than most people would. But yeah, like, if he'd have pulled all his SCVs, maybe he could have made something happen, but he's not got enough. And look, there's a Reaver here now as well. I didn't even look at the Protoss base. He's got 3 bases. He's double expanding back at home. And there's nothing you can do. GG. Vaclavson taps out, and Cloud takes game number 4 and wins the series for Ash. Okay, so there is the results. 3-1 victory for Ash. After the first game, it looked like Ash may be in a bit of trouble with Zoom, doing a really, really good job against Yeti. But Ranged, Quark, and Cloud pulling it back. The all-Protoss lineup from Ash. Possibly unbeatable. I say unbeaten. Well, I guess in the series they're unbeaten so far, but that's kind of a cool series. A lot shorter than the one we had on Monday or Wednesday, whatever it was. And obviously a lot shorter than the ones we had on Monday as well, because we had 2 series. But essentially, it's been a good stream. I'm glad there's been people that have tuned in to watch. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I know it's been a bit of a weird one with me complaining about like the stuff that's going on outside, which, to be honest, is not like the biggest of deals. But yeah, essentially, like, it's a 3-1 victory. The score form. You know what? Let's fix this one. At the end, you don't need to see it, but that was Ash vs CWT. Just on like another note, a massive shout out to our sponsors, Esport Fund and Matrino, for both giving so much towards the prize pool. You can actually add money to the prize pool completely free by following this link, logging in with one of your many social media accounts or your Twitch account, and hit the claim code button on the right hand side, and that will add 30 cents to prize pool free, courtesy of Matrino, which is really, really good. We still have 18 codes remaining, 16 codes remaining, sorry. So if 16 of you in chat do it, then that uses up all our codes for this season, which would be absolutely perfect. There's a $2,500 prize pool goal. If we can make it by the end of the season, that would be incredible. And that is it for the Brood War content bit. Miguel Furkos said in chat, the cool part about learning languages is the path to become yourself in the language that is not your mother tongue. Now that is actually really cool to me. And the reason why I'm gonna say it's cool, and I'm gonna go into a little bit of a, like, you don't have to watch this if you don't want, but if you're interested in my opinion, like, one thing I learned, I've been learning Japanese now for 10 years, coming up to my 11th year, which, if you're learning another language, that's actually quite a long time, right? Like, I've managed to become fluent despite never going to the country because I'm insane somehow. But essentially, one thing I've noticed, and when I speak to a lot of bilingual people say, like, depending on the language they're using, they have, like, a different personality. And I definitely feel the same way. Like, I've obviously met a lot of bilingual, like, whatever language in Japanese speaking people in VR chat. I speak to them in Japanese if I can't understand their native language. But, like, for me, I would say I'm a lot more confident in Japanese than I am in English. Like, I don't know why. I can't explain it. But I feel like a much more confident person. And, like, I feel like I come across better when I'm speaking as well for some reason. Rota saying, I'm a cynical, angry guy in every language he speaks. That's incredible. I like that. That's good. And yeah, Jojo Hon says it's scientifically proven to be true as well. But basically, like, learning another language is really cool. It's an excellent journey, and if you have time or you have an interest in doing it, and maybe you've been putting it off, please do it. Like, you'll really like doing it. It's hard. It takes effort to learn a language for sure. But if you pick a language that you enjoy and you find something you can only do in that language that you enjoy doing, you will get so good so fast, because this isn't me. Like, I spent a long time getting to the level I am, and I've only really started to get a lot better since I started speaking with a lot of people last year. Like, in the last year and a half, I played VR chat, obviously. But I met a girl in VR chat who was American, right? She only knew English. She knows a bit of Spanish, I think, as well, because they learn Spanish in school. And we became friends, like, about a month or two after I started playing VR chat. And what happened was, before she met me, she met this Japanese girl who she spoke to, because the Japanese girl that she met had quite basic English, and they had like a very basic conversation. And that was enough to spur her to want to learn Japanese, because she wanted to be able to speak to that person. And within the last year, she has spent so long talking Japanese. Like, she's not very confident in her Japanese at all still. But when I compare what I was like in my first year to looking at her level, she is so unbelievably good. Like, she's still not perfect, and her grammar is essentially still kind of basic, because she's not really learned in like the proper way as such, like the way I kind of learned from like learning grammar and building up. She's learned pretty much by just listening to people and speaking. Japanese grammar is easier than English, without a doubt. There is no doubt in my mind that Japanese grammar is easier than English. Like, obviously I've been learning it for a long time, but when I try and think about why English grammar works and why it is the way it is, I can't explain it. I genuinely do not understand English. Like, I don't get it. Like, I can't explain it to anyone. I can't even think about why it works to myself. I only know how to use it because it's all I've ever used, right? And I guess that's the same for most native people who don't actively like go to study their native tongue or mother tongue in university or something, right? And didn't maybe do as well in school, or they did it in school and then forgot everything, like me probably. But yeah, it amazes me because one of my favorite things as well, like learning Japanese has not only made it possible for me to make friends with so many Japanese people, I've also like made a lot of friends with other Japanese speakers from countries where I can't speak their language. Like I've got quite a lot of Korean friends now that I can only speak to because we both speak Japanese. It's the same with there's a couple of Taiwanese people I know, a couple of people from like Indonesia and stuff like that, where if it wasn't for the fact we both independently learned Japanese separately, we wouldn't be able to converse in the way we do. And that's like really, really cool. Because unless you learn another language, you can't experience that. And I think that's really amazing, right? Because if you only know English, and this is the same for most British people, I would say, but if you only know English and essentially you never have any want to learn another language, the only way you're ever going to be able to speak to someone from another culture or another place is either if they know English anyway, because like Europe, for example, a lot of countries learn English to begin with, or they come from like an Asian country or an African country and they've learned English themselves or they learned it in school, right? Like, yeah, you can speak with other English people, like speaking people and other people in the Anglosphere, like America and Canada and Australia and New Zealand. But it feels to me like you're missing out on a lot by not knowing another language. And I think that's why learning another language is cool, and why I think if you want to do it, don't do what, because I wanted to learn Japanese since I was like 10, but I never bothered. Don't sit on the thought of wanting to do it. If you genuinely want to do it and you feel like you're going to get something out of it, start it. Start it now because you're going to enjoy it. Like, I found so much enjoyment from learning Japanese, and I've made so many different friends that I wouldn't have been able to otherwise. But you don't have to learn a third or fourth. That's like apparently it becomes easier, but essentially like I like part of me wants to learn Korean, but I want to get better at Japanese first. Even though like people say I'm fluent, it's I want to be able to like not I can't you can't get perfect in a language, and that's one thing that people need to realize as well. A lot of people who are learning aren't confident in speaking because they think, oh, I might say something wrong. Like, especially with Japanese people don't care if you can barely speak Japanese. If you make a mistake, if anything, the most people are just more happy that you've attempted to try and speak their language. Like, a lot of Japanese people tell me, because obviously my Japanese isn't too bad, but like a lot of my friends have turned around to me at various points and said like, and one of them said like, they said like, why the hell did you learn like such a minor language like Japanese, right? Because to a lot of Japanese people, they think we're a small country, kind of like England is. They're an island nation. They don't really deal with many people from outside Japan very often. And when they do, there's like barely any Japanese speakers worldwide, right? Like there's a few sort of in the Philippines and other places and in America as well. But a lot of people are like, well, why would you learn Japanese and not something like Chinese or whatever? And like a lot, like there's this weird thing that people bring up about Japan, and I know I'm going into a rant here, but like there's always the joke that people make about people who learn like Japanese because they like anime, right? Japanese people, if you speak Japanese to them, they don't care why or how you learned it, right? They genuinely don't care. Like, there's this big meme that like, oh, you're a weeb and you watched anime, so you learned Japanese, right? That I've literally met people who have really good Japanese from learning nothing but anime, right? And it's not perfect, right? That you miss out on a few things, that you don't do formal study or anything. But the very fact that you can go and learn a language like that and then converse with people is pretty incredible, right? And if anything, Japanese people are more impressed that people care about anime outside of Japan than they are about anything else. They're like, wow, not only did you learn from watching anime, we didn't think anyone outside of Japan would have seen this, right? That's why people shouldn't feel bad about how or why they learn a language. Pick the method that works for you, and if it works and you get to learn a language and you get to learn new things and meet new people, learn the way the hell you want, man. Like, if you want to learn from just playing porn games, right? Who cares? No one. If you can learn the language, do it, right? It's not a. I actually met a Korean guy who learned Japanese by doing that. I don't know how the hell he managed to do it, but he did. I only met him once, and it was like on one of the first days I played VR Chat. I've never seen him since. But like, his story sticks with me because it's like, wow, there's people like that. That's kind of incredible. Now, I've been like ranting about Japanese now for a while now. This is definitely going to inflate the VOD a little bit, so maybe people will think the final game's a little bit longer than it was. But I'm going to find someone to raid. Thank you, everyone who tuned in. Once again, if you want to learn a new language, do it. It's very, very rewarding. You'll have so many more experiences that you will never, ever get without doing it. I am going to host DeWalt because DeWalt is in the STPL and Seoul is on bonus and not playing this season. So bonus is on Seoul and not playing. So I'm going to raid DeWalt. And there we go. Doc Holiday turns up at the very last minute to go get raided somewhere else. Yeah, unlucky Doc. It's good to see you again, though. Hopefully, like, how's like things going with the coding and everything? Just before I raid, like, is it working out? I know you had a job and are you out of work now, or have you got another job again? It's kind of hard, like, keeping up with what you're doing, because like you're always on after I go to sleep, and then by the time I wake up, you're in bed. So I don't really get to talk to you much anymore. Like the only communication I've had with Doc Holiday over the last like 2 months is like when I at him something, and yeah, I at him or something, and then like he responds in the middle of the night, and then I get to read it the next day. Yeah, it's been fun, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed my like rants today. Hopefully you enjoyed the cast as well. Once again, thank you to our sponsors, Esport Fund and Maturino. We will be back for week 3 next week. The matchups we've got, I think I'm about to lose you all to the raid, so I've got to be freaking quick. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it fast enough. It doesn't matter. We'll see you guys next time. Have a very, very good day, and a very good evening, and a morning, wherever you are.